about 9 o'clock now. You're a side sleeper.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Blind, brought to you by TETRA Hearing. If you would please check them on their social platforms and find them online at tetrahearing.com. Great product. Looking forward to meeting those guys. This is our first year being partnered with TETRA Hearing, and this is the final episode of Behind the Blind for this particular season, which in a TV production season is season 10. And here in a little bit, we're going to talk about some of our favorite hunts over the last season, and maybe even dive into some of the things that we might be doing next year. So start thinking about what that might be, Logan. I don't
know yet. I really don't know.
If we sound and look like we are tired, it's because we are. The thing about hunting snow geese in Saskatchewan, and we've talked about this several times, but it is they have really long daylight hours here, and so it is very early wake-up calls, which has been anywhere from 1:30 to 2 for us. Banging times typically right around 4:45. If you're in a position to where you have to scout till dark, then you're probably out until roughly 9 o'clock, which means you're not getting back to camp until 9:30, 10.
Yeah.
Then you're likely not eating dinner. And so you're only getting 2 to 3 hours of sleep at best at night. And then you're trying to get in another 3 hours or 4 hours during the day. And so do that for 5 days of hunting, and it puts its toll on you. And then you get to turn around and drive 22 hours home. So anyway, let's get into today's hunt. We talked last night about how we were going to be a little concerned about the hide, and we were going to get up early and get out there and try to find a hide because there was so many birds in the field and they stayed in there until dark. So we did, and we drove around in that large field for roughly 40 minutes or so. And then we finally, Logan and Alex were able to find a piece on the south side to set up on.
And honestly, like, it was the spot to be.
It was really the only spot.
Now, we couldn't quite be as high on the crown of that hill as we wanted to be, but there was enough. It was basically just one big hillside. We were 3/4 of the way up because there was a lot of grass. There was a lot of trees. We were able to cut some more limbs down. And our hide was great. Like, we looked really good. I just wish we could be higher up on the crown. But really the killer, it's more of the same. 0 wind. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable to me. I don't know if I've ever been on a hunt or we've been anywhere where it's been this consistent of 0 wind. You know, you get a day here where it's slow, it's 5 miles an hour, and then maybe the next day it's 10. But, you know, I don't know if I've ever been 4 or 5 days straight with no wind.
Yeah, very consistent with no wind.
Which just seems a little odd for up here. Not to say in the 10 years that we've been coming.
It's odd for the spring in general.
Right. You know, we've been coming up here for 10 years. It's been 3 years that we've been coming up here in total, not consecutively, but total, for spring snow geese. And not to say that we've not had a day here and there where the rain has been light to variable. But as Alex alluded to, it consistently being, I mean, not even like we were joking in the blind. Like, everybody knows who hunts snow geese. Like, you typically want a pretty stiff wind. We were asking for a puff. That was the word. Can we get a puff of wind?
5 miles an hour.
Right. And I was like, I'll take 3. Like, we had absolutely 0 wind, and it made it really tough. This morning, I should back up. We ended up hunting all day. Being that it was our last day, we were wanting to, do our very best to go out with a bang. And I think we're roughly right around 25, before we came in for lunch.
Yep. Yeah. Right around there.
And we had sunshine, which is always a good thing for what we're trying to do. And the wind was nothing. And so we were optimistic that maybe we might get a little bit of wind. And when I say little bit, right around that 5 mile per hour mark. But we actually got a double whammy when we came out this afternoon, because the wind, when we showed up, 1 second it's out of the north, and it's out of the east, and then it's out of the south. And we're like, what's going on here? And then the clouds rolled in. And so,
and it got so stagnant.
Oh yeah.
Like, laying in that layout blind, you were just like in an oven.
Yep, for sure. I mean, it was hot. Like, at one point, I think driving out to the field today, my truck said it was right around 78.
Yep.
Which was the hottest that it has been since we've been here.
Yeah.
So you have that combined with the clouds, no wind. It wasn't the bird numbers. I mean, we were in a great spot.
They wanted
I mean, they wanted in there.
wanted
It's just they didn't work, you know, and that's just part of it. There's nothing you can do about that. We would have shot a limit in an hour, you know, if we had wind this morning. But, you know, you look at it the other way too. We spent 45 minutes driving around that field trying to figure out a place to hide. We knew we didn't want to hide in the middle with that field being raked, and it was just basically bare dirt for the most part. Like hiding out in the middle was not an option. So when we did find that spot on the south end, I mean, that was the difference between us shooting any birds or, you know, the 30 some odd that we ended up with today, you know, was directly correlation because of that hide. If we were out in the middle,
no, you were
zero confidence in the world that we would have done anything, you know, but we were in the spot. I mean, we were in the right spot, and, you know, as much as we haven't slept on this trip, we literally woke up 30 minutes early just to make sure we had enough time to go out there and spend the time
we knew it was
going
to take time to find it.
And this field is huge, giant field.
Which is pretty typical for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and has rolling hills, so it's not like you can just see what's going on, you know, and obviously the birds didn't get out of that field until, you know, 9:30 last night, so can't really drive in. There's no difference driving in, you know, at 10 o'clock at night after they all leave versus in the morning, so... Yeah, I mean, it was all with no wind and those birds hovering over top of you, circling like that. It's all about how hidden you can be.
Yeah.
You know, we're obviously not using socks. We're using full bodies. So we are using, quote unquote, better. I mean, no wind with socks is just a deadly combination.
Sure.
You know, but we have full bodies, so we have to hide ourselves, especially with the cameras. And if we can do that, then we are getting looks and we are getting opportunities. I mean, all those birds were flying over us today at, you know, 60 to 80 yards high, and they had no clue we were there. Now, if we could have been in a little bit different spot, then we probably would have shot a lot more, but that just wasn't an option, unfortunately.
Right.
Or, you know, if you're out there with your buddies, I mean, the way that they wanted to hover with no wind, they would come right over the backs of the blinds, and my God, if you would have just turned around and just shot straight up.
We could have just popped up and shot straight up all day long. But
then you're not getting anything on
and then
camera,
Dakota
right?
and Q's they're not getting anything, and then we're just not serving our purpose of being here.
Yep.
So as I mentioned, we ended up taking a break. We shot 25 roughly in the morning, came in, grabbed some lunch, got a quick nap, and then went back out. And I think we ended up shooting
we shot 35 tonight.
Yeah, about 10 more. So that's not terrible, you know, considering all of the elements. You got the cameras, you got the clouds, no wind. There's no reason for us to feel, I mean, naturally we're disappointed, but it wasn't for a lack of effort, right? Like we worked our tail off this entire trip. You can only do the best you can do. And, you know, the other thing I was thinking about earlier, like, it's not a situation where you choose, you know what, the conditions aren't right, I'm not going to hunt today. No, you just drove 22 hours and invested a lot of time, and then we've got sponsors, you know, that we have to go out there and create content for. You know, not hunting is not an option. Yeah. Like regardless of what the conditions are, we committed ourselves to being here. We have to hunt, and unfortunately we can't control Mother Nature. And so it is what it is. To scratch out 35, which we talked about this last night. We kind of knew going into it, it was likely going to be singles and pairs. I think there was maybe one.
We had two chances at some pretty good groups, but again, with no wind, it would be like
they're landing all different directions.
Two would land way out there. One would be.
There were long shots.
Like, they would never like ball up at all. No. Right? It was two would land here, one would land there.
10 mile an hour wind, and you're landing 50 in the hole. No problem.
Yep.
And there was a couple times where, honestly, I mean, I know I can, speaking for myself, I could have shot better, you know, and I don't know if that's just fatigue from the grind that we've been on. Granted, we were taking
you're
long
a bad shot.
Huh?
Or you're a bad shot.
Ooh, that's harsh.
I'm the one that missed in the 2-shot.
You did? You did. But today was just one of those days.
Fatigue.
You know,
we'll call it fatigue.
It was fatigue. But it was long shots, you know. I mean, we were at. I know you are. I'll cry later. It's just once the camera's off. You know, we're looking at. There was times 40, 50 yard shots. You know, they were killable, but it's, you know, it was a little bit more challenging. And frankly, we're used to bringing them into the foot bags and shooting them up close. So I'm not going to, what my point to all of this is that, hey, we had a great time. It's an incredible opportunity to come up here. The people are so awesome. The countryside is beautiful. I mean, and then you're just seeing, it's the Mecca, right? It's the waterfowl Mecca. Like we were seeing some beautiful plumed shovelers and mallards and pintails with
ruddy
long
ducks.
sprigs. What?
We saw some ruddy ducks.
Yeah.
Some good
some
ones.
Boy, I'm so tired. Redheads. We saw some really beautiful.
Lots of canvasbacks. I've seen more canvasbacks on little potholes than
I
I've
did
ever
too.
seen.
And every pothole has a pair of Canada geese.
Yeah, for sure. And that's right. They're
Which is a
in
good
pairs.
sign.
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, that's cool. Like when you can go out and scout and you're just seeing all of that. If you're into waterfowl hunting, regardless if you're chasing that species to hunt, you just appreciate it.
Yeah. And I mean, no matter what, you know, you shoot 35, you shoot 3, or you shoot 300. I mean, granted, everyone watching is going to go, yeah, we'll shoot 300. But when you're out in the field and you're with your friends and you're like, you can't beat it. I mean, you can't beat it. You can say, oh, I wish we had this, or I wish we shot more. I wish, you know, people get hung up on shooting limits and things. But I mean, for all the other things I could be doing right now, pretty damn lucky to be able to sit in a field and hunt these birds with my buddies and travel and see the countryside, and it's been awesome. And this whole year has been awesome. I mean, there's been some, I mean, especially for me, some really bucket list stuff that I never thought in a million years you'd be able to do.
Nice segue,
really?
Alex.
Really?
That was a nice segue. I like that because let's talk about
what is that bucket list hunt you went on.
So as we get ready to, this being the final hunt of season 10, which by the way is just mind blowing that we've been doing this for 10 years. I was actually telling Dakota and Q in the truck as we were pulling out, and Dakota brought up, wow, to do 10 years of this at the level of which we've been doing it. And I say that humbly, you know, you're doing something. You know, there are so many people who've got into this industry and they've lasted, you know, some maybe just a year and some 3, and then they're done. And we would not be able to do that if, one, we didn't have the sponsors. And I don't have the list of all of them in front of me right now, but you know who you are. Thank you so much for believing in us and what we do, and giving us the opportunity to travel the country, to create this content, to showcase your products and create a, you know, relative real life content for those who are passionate about waterfowl hunting. But it is remarkable in some ways that we've been able to do this for 10 years. And I hope that, you know, we get to do it for another 10. That being said, there's been some incredible, memorable moments. And since Alex kind of, you know, started that conversation, let's go with you. And what episode would that be that's coming out in July? That
3.
would be
Episode 3.
I had that typed down.
Early
2?
North Dakota.
3.
Yeah, 3.
3.
Yeah. So I think we're going to call that episode Bucket List Bird. So
What was the bucket list bird?
Yeah, tell us without giving away too much, so that they can. I mean, there's content out there on the Heartland Waterfowl YouTube channel, so you might have seen some of it, but there's going to be produced entirely different from our friends over at Heartland Bowhunter Productions, which, by the way, thank them for having our back the last 10 years. But you had an amazing opportunity that allowed you and a few and Logan and Dakota and Q to go along and so kind of give us the bullet points of that, what people can expect when that episode comes out in July.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be one of 25 non-residents that drew an emperor goose permit for the year. And it's only
because that's kind of a regional bird. And so anybody, you know, that's in the heartland, right? You know, kind of explain this emperor goose and the history behind it and why it's so hard to maybe get a tag for this bird.
Yeah. So the only place that you can go kill an emperor is in Alaska. Of course, they have a couple different regions ranging from Kodiak to Cold Bay down to the Aleutian Islands. And due to many different circumstances, they closed the hunting, and I can't tell you the date when they closed it, probably in the 70s or early 80s. And it had been closed until 2018. They reopened it in 2018, and there are resident tags that there's a quota for there. I think it's 1,000. And Jeff said that they maybe, you know,
they shoot like 150
maybe.
Yeah, there's not much that get filled on the resident quota.
Non-residents, it's 25.
Okay.
So it's a very, very difficult tag to draw. I know lots of people that have put in for it for.
Yeah, how many do you know? Like, do you have any idea how many actually try to put in for that?
I think it's like 10,000.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I had the number.
Wow, I did not realize that.
It was like 0.0014 odds that you could draw.
Wow.
And so I thought,
I don't know if that equates to 10,000, but
well,
anyways,
I mean,
I thought that's what I
10,000.
heard. But yeah, it's something like that.
It's math. It's not my strong suit.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
My point is,
I wasn't saying it like that. I just meant like I don't know that math either. But I something tells me it was like 10,000. I don't remember. I heard it somewhere.
We had been to Alaska before, and I honestly, and maybe I'm the dumbass, but I didn't even know about an emperor goose until we went to Alaska before. And so I wouldn't even know to want or have a desire to put in for a emperor goose tag because I knew nothing about it. So it was fascinating to me when you started the process because nobody thought you had a chance in hell of drawing it. Nobody did.
Yeah.
In your first year, but I never knew, what the demand was, I guess, how many people across the world would want to try to put in for an out-of-state tag. And to think that, that many people and you got one of 25 in your first attempt.
The first time I put in for it.
Is for example, I tried to put in for a Montana elk tag 4 years ago. I just drew.
Right.
That's the thing too. You don't even get preference points, right?
Right.
When for the emperor goose, there's no preference point. It's not like, I haven't drawn 10 years now. I have a better chance. No, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, there's just 25 people drawn, and here you go.
Straight luck.
It's a beautiful bird, by the way. And if you've never heard about an emperor goose, and you're maybe watching this for the first time, and you didn't see any of the content that was created by our friends at Marathon Media, then you should go check out that content on our Heartland Waterfowl YouTube channel. But or go Google emperor goose. It's beautiful
amazing.
bird. I mean, it almost is like is it fair to say, because I did not see it, I didn't hold it, is it close to the size as a greater Canada goose, or is it
no,
more?
It's like a size of a blue goose,
like a blue goose.
Okay.
Yep.
And it resembles a lot like a blue goose.
Yeah, with that, it's got that gray, that
shorter beak,
color,
like medium-sized beak.
Feet.
Okay.
It's got pink and purples on the beak. It's just like you look at it and you hold it and you're like, this is an unreal bird. It's beautiful.
Tell them about the feathers. Tell Ronnie about the feathers.
What about the feathers?
Their feathers have that weird, I don't know. They're like prickly.
Oh, it's like you look at this bird and it's like it's unlike anything you've ever had before. It's almost like it's a scale. It's almost like got like a scale to it. They actually have spurs on their wings.
Yeah.
They use to fight with.
Really?
So
okay.
Basically, the elbow joint of their wing, the males will have spurs.
Huh.
And that's how they fight with. It's the thing too about that trip was I was ecstatic to be able to draw an emperor goose tag, but when you go to a place like Cold Bay, there are other bucket list birds that people travel all over to get. So now that Washington has closed their Harlequin duck season, you can't shoot a Harlequin in Washington anymore. You have to go to Alaska to shoot a Harley. Well, Logan's been talking about shooting a Harley since I've known him, right? That's been his bucket list bird, really. And then on top of that, you want to talk about Pacific eiders. You have to go to that region to shoot a Pacific eider, which, especially according to Jeff, who has been doing this for his entire life.
Shout out Four Flyways Outfitters.
Yes, Jeff Wasley. In a fantastic outfit. All the guys there, the guides, Jeff.
Awesome.
I mean, we had a blast. It felt like we were there with family. And people come up there and they want to shoot. They have their emperor tag, or they want to go shoot a Harlequin, or they go up there to shoot a Pacific eider. There are some people that go multiple times to try and shoot a Pacific because you have to go in the big water. You have to catch the right weather. So there's not too many rollers because you're in layout boats.
Yeah.
And
Jeff said there was a couple guys that have come up like over 5 years and still haven't shot their Pacific because the weather's bad, they can't get out, birds don't decoy.
You're at the mercy of Mother Nature, and we got lucky enough to have almost a full week of incredible weather. So not only did I get to shoot my emperor goose, which huge bucket list bird, but we all got to shoot Harlequins. Me and Logan got to shoot Pacific eiders. Q got to shoot his first longtail, and So
Brant.
Yeah, we shot, of course, Brant. Like that's what a lot of that Cold Bay is known for. So not only was I lucky enough to be able to shoot a nipper goose on the one tag, but we all got to check bucket list birds off our list. We got to, when you're laying out in Cold Bay, like you're in the bay, there are mountains, the sun's coming up over the mountains. I looked at Dakota one day, we were laying in the layout boat and I was like, this doesn't even seem real. Like it doesn't seem real. Like how incredible this is and how lucky we are to be doing this. So yeah, that definitely is like the top trip for me in season 10. It was just everything together, with all of us being there and all of us being able to shoot different birds and experience new things, and the group we were with, it
was amazing. And the content that was created by Q and Dakota over Marathon Media Management, who's also obviously a part of our Heartland Waterfowl team. Those YouTube videos turned out fantastic. Go check them out. Which I should also add, two things. One, there was, and I'm going to throw a teaser out there. There was some pretty intense drama that came with the retrieve of that emperor goose, and I'm going to leave it at that. Go check out the Heartland Waterfowl YouTube channel of that episode, or make sure that you see it when it comes out in July on Sportsman's Channel, or come to the Heartland premiere, which is on June 17th at Stony Creek Hotel and Conference Center in Independence, Missouri. It's a premiere event that we do with Heartland Bowhunter. It's huge. People from all over the country travel in. It's mostly regional people that show up, but we do have people from outside states that show up. We raffle off a ton of high-dollar items from our sponsors, be it HB and HW sponsors, and it's just a hell of a party. So that's the episode that we're going to show before you can even see it on TV. We'd love for you to join. It's absolutely free. And we might even be able to get you a discount rate at the hotel too. And it's a beautiful hotel. So, we're excited to see the production of that, and feature that at the Heartland premiere. So, but that drama was pretty intense.
I lost a few years off my life.
Check that out. Logan, what was your favorite hunt or favorite trip from season 10?
Oh man. I mean, all of them, right? But I mean,
what an easy
answer. Let me just tell you.
Alaska was good.
He was giddy like a little schoolgirl when he finally got to shoot that Harlequin.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, the Harlequin was cool. The Pacific Eider was awesome. Just that memory, me and Q were in that dinghy. It wasn't even a layout boat. It was like a life raft we were in. And the saving grace with the life raft is you can shoot full 360 versus laying in a layout boat where you're kind of limited to, I wouldn't even call it 180 degrees because you can't even shoot that way, especially when you have a camera guy to your right.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, that sticks out. The that mallard hunt at Tornado Alley sticks out when that big cold front came in, got negative degree temps, wind was blowing 40 mile an hour right before Christmas there. Man, we shot a lot of mallards when we were in North Dakota. We had some good hunts there. Obviously, Texas cranes is always fun. I mean, it's one of those things where like we're just so fortunate, you know. I sit here and say, oh, well, what was my favorite? Well, they're all my favorite, right? I just want to keep doing it.
Right.
But yeah, all that sticks out. And then, you know, here being able to come back to Canada now, that is a big thing. I mean,
we waited a long time.
We laugh about it, and we were talking about it earlier, but that was part of the reason that I wanted to start Heartland Waterfowl, so I didn't have to pay to go hunt, right? I could come to Canada every year, you know?
And then that turned into not twice a year, but twice a season.
Yeah. And then hanging out with you guys, it turned into hanging with you guys. Now I got to deal with your guys' shit, you know? So, but no, it's been 10 great years. It's been a ton of fun, and, you know, who knows how long it'll last, but I can promise you 10, 15 years down the road, hopefully we will be in Saskatchewan shooting spring snows again, and hopefully we won't be in this shitty hotel. So
I love this hotel.
But hey, nonetheless, it's all about the memories, right?
It is, for sure. And we've created so many of them over the last 10 years. If I was to say, and you've already hit on it, but my favorite, everybody knows because we joke about it all the time in the last 10 years of creating content. I'm a duck guy. I love hunting ducks. That cold front and shooting ducks on that small body of what? Well, I mean, they called it a river. It's a creek.
No,
Yeah,
it was a
creek.
crick.
It was a creek. We were shooting them ducks on that creek.
There's a little ripple there around that bend of that creek.
Yeah, I mean, everything was so. I mean, it was 30 below wind chill that particular morning.
We literally there was actually our trucks running 10 feet away from where we were standing.
Yeah, because we have diesels. We didn't want them to gel up. There's a clip. I don't remember it being recorded or videoed saying this, but we typically especially when you're driving to the field on a morning where it's that frigid, the last thing I want to do is wear every piece of warm clothing in my truck, right, and get all sweaty and hot. So then we get out, and then I start putting all this extra gear, and I said to myself, I'm starting to question what the hell I'm doing here, because the wind is whipping. It's snowing like a blizzard. It's 30 below wind chill.
Drive was sketchy enough just trying to get there.
For sure.
You couldn't see 5 feet in front of your truck.
And the hole was as big as this bed, or maybe a little bit bigger, but I mean, it was not a very big hole. And the ducks were just dumping. And the way we were set up was on this, I guess, a creek bank. And how many times do you have the opportunity to shoot down on birds? Shoot down on ducks like you're sitting in a deer stand shooting down on a deer, right? I mean, it was just absolutely, I mean, they're coming over the trees, and then it's just like they're riding the elevator straight down. And it was such a memorable duck hunt. And again, another one of those situations where we could have maybe shot him out quicker or shot more. I don't know, because did we even shoot our limit? We were maybe just a few
close. We were real close, if not.
But
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
We were trying to get the right film. Justin Chaz Michaels actually got frostbite on his freaking hand.
We had a couple. Me and him both had little frostbite blisters. In fact, you can still kind of see one right there, like the scar of it.
It was that
Our hands got
cold.
so cold. I had to have someone help me unzip my jacket to get in the car because my fingers were getting so cold at that point from picking up.
But the intensity of that hunt, I know that sounds crazy for anybody who maybe is, and I don't know why you would be, but if you're watching this and don't understand waterfowl hunting or the passion, you're probably thinking you guys are idiots. And maybe in some cases we are. But when you are passionate that much and you see them do it the way they did it, it's worth that. It's worth every bit of the headache or just the difficulty or the coldness, all the trouble that you're going through to have that memory. That, for me personally, being a duck guy, was the most memorable hunt of the year.
Moral of the story: Ronnie likes duck stuff.
I do. I like duck stuff. And hopefully we'll get to do more duck stuff next season. Is there anything?
Okay, yeah, I'm working on some duck stuff. All right, I'm working on some duck stuff.
There's a couple things in the works.
Working on some duck stuff. I get it. Okay, a couple more duck hunts, a couple less goose hunts. We'll help you out this year, Ronnie.
We'll
help you out.
Less hunts. We'll just add more.
No, we'll get it put together. We got a couple more months before things start getting serious, and
we do know this though. To kick off season 11, it's pretty much. I mean, I don't know if it's 100%, but we can say it's about 99% that we'll be back in North Dakota.
I would think so. Yep. Yeah, I would think so.
And that's just, I mean, it's really the only place in the country, as far as what we like to pursue, to where you can start your season that early.
Yeah, New York has an early season. Right. Wisconsin has an early season.
But we have relationships in North Dakota. We kind of know the area, so it makes sense.
And New York's changed a bunch, and but yeah, I mean, we have an opportunity to go to Wisconsin if we want to for the early season. So you never know. We might switch some things up. We might shoot geese all year long and not even look at ducks.
Maybe that was a tease right there that I didn't even know about.
Maybe we'll just snow goose hunt all year.
Oh,
no ducks.
So
no
I wasn't going to mention this, but apparently you've just pushed me over the edge. This is my final year of hunting waterfowl. I'm retiring now after 10 years.
I retired 8 years ago and it didn't work.
I'm just kidding. But if we're hunting snow geese every day, I might have to. You might be pushing me to the end. I'm trying to think of what else to add to this, but. What a year. What a season.
It's really just like a big thank you, like you said, we talk about this all the time amongst ourselves, and we try and portray that as well. It's just how blessed we are, how blessed we feel to be able to do the things that we do,
even when it sucks.
Yeah,
you just sit there and be like we can get irritated. We're sitting in, sorry to cut you off, but we're sitting there in the blinds, and Logan, we joke because he doesn't have the greatest patience in the world, and most times you'll hear him say, "Are we done here?" And it's like, okay, well, then and do what? Like go back to the hotel. Like we drove 22 hours to come up here and do this, and that's when you kind of start thinking about the perspective of all this. Like, this is incredible that we get to do this.
And then when you think back to like 10 years, because when you really start thinking it, we were kind of talking to some guys at the motel here, and we were talking about other things, and it's like, well, not only is it the stuff that we did last year, but then you think like we've been in New York a few times, we've done the diver hunt, we've done the sea ducks, and we've been north, we've been east, we've been south, we've done things that are on people's bucket lists for their whole life that maybe they won't get to do. And it's just super blessed, super lucky. I don't take any of it for granted. And I can't wait to keep doing it and bring more to season 11. And it's crazy to think it really is, we wrap this up today and it's like, well, it's 3.5 months. We're back at it.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Sorry, Nicole.
I'd have to say right. Funny you mentioned Nicole. That's his wife's name. I talked about this in an interview that we did in the field today, but, and I don't know what the likelihood is that our significant others might be watching this podcast, but, kudos to them, because many of us are married and have a family, have kids, multiple kids. And there's no way that we would be able to pull this off if they weren't on board with what we do. It's hard. Like, it is really tough. There's, and just to throw this little caveat in there, we don't do this full time. We all have full-time jobs. I work in
more than one job.
Right. Exactly. And so, we're, to be able to have a full-time job outside of this, married with kids, and travel the country during the season to do this. It's a group effort. On all parts, whether it's the Heartland Waterfowl staff or friends and family that chip in, that help us and our families to be able to do what we love to do. And so, who you are. Thank you for contributing to our families and helping us to be able to chase this dream and this passion that we've fortunately been able to do for the last 10 years.
Well, cheers to season 10.
Cheers. Yeah. Yep. Thank you guys so much. TETRA Hearing, thank you so much for your partnership with sponsoring. I got to take the drink. We're sponsoring the first season of the Behind the Blind podcast from Heartland Waterfowl. I would also just end with this. Being that this is the first year that we've done this, we're always trying to find new ways to evolve and bring you additional original content outside of what you would typically get from us on the Sportsman's Channel. We're getting real aggressive with our YouTube initiative. Comment below. Let us know what it is that you would like to know about, or content that you would like to get from us. One of the things that we get a lot is informational stuff, educational stuff. And so we're an open book. We want to be able to provide the content that you desire. And so if you would subscribe, hit the notifications bell, comment on all of these videos, give us a comment and let us know what it is that you're looking for, maybe in season 11, as we try to scale this and make it even better for next season. We would love to hear from you. For Logan Burdett and Alex Dicedue, I'm Ronnie Phillips. That's going to be a wrap for season 10 of Heartland Waterfowl and this season of Behind the Blind. We'll be back in August, and make sure you check out Heartland Waterfowl Season 10 on Sportsman Channel coming the first week of July, and hope to see you at the Heartland premiere June 17th in Independence, Missouri. Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Mic drop.